On this episode of The Bender Hour.
Honestly, probably the last thing I want to do in a porta potty is get on my knees.
Wow, 9 days. Look at you go.
Where'd you go? 9 days, no sleep? How do you do that? Yeah, you have the blue ball. You're chewing on celery. Like you're a year into this, and there's people that are like doing handstands just to like give their penis like
just to get more height.
Yeah, just to get more height.
That's a strange hand technique, Dan. I haven't seen that one before.
But yeah, it wouldn't take all too much to like why does he just have to like come like on the floor of like a basketball ring? Like he could make something.
This is fire.
He gets punished for winning.
That's crucible.
And we're back.
There we are. Finally back on the Bender Hour.
Do you want me to start with the questionable thing?
Might as well. Let's dive right into it.
So, you know how I showed you that nasty ass like burn,
That's you,
like
right?
injury that I gave myself?
Yes.
So I put a Bandaid on it. I've been putting Band-Aids on and off it, but I put a Bandaid on it on Friday, and this is like a new one that I got, and the adhesive is just so fucking strong that I still have this Band-Aid on right now. So, as you can see, check your message, check your iDroid.
Let's take a look.
As you can see, it's been leaking under the Band-Aid. You
Ugh.
can see how fucking yucky and damp it is.
Yes.
Now, my question to you, if I pulled this off, if I just somehow, with the strength of fucking Zeus, ripped it off, $10,000 to lick the underside of it.
Ugh. I mean, I can see... I mean, I doubt you're gonna put this picture up for like anyone else to see, just for like, you know, that sake, I guess, but for the viewers at home, from what I can see of like the colors bleeding through, there's definitely like a darkish, vaguely greenish bruise color. And just like it's already nasty enough like licking like a bloody Band-Aid. But
That is straight pus.
yeah, that's like pus, but that's still $10,000. And the thing is, would I have to lick the full length from like the adhesive tip to the end, or just the
No,
part?
just the bandage part. Just the part that's actually been like soaking it up.
Yeah, I'd probably
you-
do that for 10 grand.
You would do that for 10 grand?
What I'd probably do,
Fucking nasty.
because I mean, granted, that's like an inch. That's like an inch's space
Yeah,
for
it's a
10.
small Band-Aid.
Yeah, but it's an inch for 10 grand, and it's it's not like I'm gonna like lick it and then like swallow in my mouth. Like I'm gonna rush over to like a fucking like some kind of like boiling water and stick my tongue in. Like I'll do anything to make sure my tongue is like purified after that.
Alright, 10,000, but you have to lick it and like keep your tongue in your mouth for a minute.
Well, where else is it gonna
You can't,
go?
you can't spit or like rinse your mouth. You have to like just hold it for a minute.
So I just like,
You could swallow if you want.
I mean, I'm not gonna swallow. I'll tell you that much. So I just have to not swallow for a minute, and I guess I can keep my tongue still enough so I wouldn't like touch like the inside of my like I guess like the roof or sides of my mouth with it.
But either way, that is gonna be on your taste buds.
I mean,
You're still gonna be tasting it.
I guess, but you know what? I can just hold my nose. Yeah, that usually works. And
I
unless-
never understood that. I'm gonna be honest, that has never worked for me once in my life.
really.
Like, if my nose is clogged, even if I pinch it and I taste something, I still taste it perfectly fine.
That is just like unknown to science.
Superhuman.
Because like for most things, pinching my nose does stop the taste, unless it's like some particularly special food. And unfortunately, I can't even like name any off the top of my head that have bypassed that filter. But it has happened a couple times.
I have done the test multiple times of like closing my nose and tasting something, and I can always taste it.
Ugh. But yeah, like an inch.
I'm just that strong.
But an inch of like pussy blood. I mean, it is fucking disgusting. But it's still like an easy 10 grand. And I feel like you could like especially mitigate the harm as a compared from like other of our hypotheticals. Which usually require at least some kind of like trip to the hospital before you can really like claim your prize effectively.
But this one's just gross. I figured you'd have more of an aversion to it, considering how many times you've thrown like the public pool Bandaid one at me.
Yeah, you know, I was gonna like mention it, but I honestly didn't remember the entirety of it. It was just licking like one plucked out of a public pool.
I think so.
And that is an old one. That precedes my shot glass full of like porta potty liquid one. That's my usual go-to. The worst part is I don't even know if we ever like brought that one up on the Bender Hour.
We've never talked about porta potties once on the Bender Hour.
That is, unless we somehow graced them when we were talking about like the all-in-one pooper.
We did not. I can tell you that right now. We did not talk about porta potties once.
It's like funny how you phrase that because it makes it sound like we have something to genuinely say about porta potties. Although, I mean, now that it's brought up, I could probably like mention some shit about porta potties, but you know, once again, for the folks at home eagerly awaiting, yeah, the porta potty
for
one.
Those people who don't know what porta potties are.
Yeah. This is for like the hypothetical. I always give it, you know, $90,000. You know, it could be 100,000, but I always just thought like 90,000 was a funnier number. $90,000 to drink a shot glass worth of the blue liquid at the bottom of a porta potty, and I'd usually add several stipulations that the porta potty has been used at least twice, but you can't tell from looking at it if it was piss or shit. And you do have access, like poison control is immediately there. Like there's literally a fucking ambulance with poison control right there. But you still gotta do it. And you know, what has been your answer to that one?
I honestly don't even know. You said it was 90,000?
Yeah, 90 grand.
To take a shot of the blue liquid.
Yes.
Because it's probably going to be... You said it's been used at least twice?
Yes.
Is that within, like, the past hour or just in general?
I mean, I guess in general.
So it could have been 2 people in the past, like, month.
Yes.
Because, I mean, either way, isn't the blue liquid, like, an antiseptic? It gets, like, a chemical bath. So either way, you need your stomach pumped.
Yes.
So at that rate, it's like, why not do it? Are the medical expenses covered?
Yes.
The hospital ride too, like the ambulance ride.
it's all like all the medical expense shit is completely covered.
Is there any guarantee that they'll be able to like pump your stomach in time, or is that?
I mean,
a gamble.
I mean, this is a shot glass's worth, and I don't really know what the failure rate is on stomach pumping procedures. But I guess just to keep that air of mystery, I'll just say no. Even though
you really could be sacrificing everything for 90 grand.
And also the thing is, like, if it was just the amount of a shot glass, do you think like just throwing it up would be like sufficient? Like just like a round of like 5 throw-ups?
Are you allowed to instantly make yourself throw up as soon as you take the shot glass?
I mean, you're saying that like it's like not gonna be what happens. Like you are going to throw up when you drink that. Like you're gonna.
I don't know. I've seen a video of a dude downing an entire bottle of 90% isopropyl alcohol. He does not like. I would imagine that if I drank that, I would immediately throw up. That dude downs the whole bottle.
Well, for all you know, like maybe he did throw up, like because I know the video you're talking about, and I'm sure who's to know if he threw up or not, like after the video stopped. But then again, that is alcohol. You know, some people are built different, like tolerate alcohol. Even like 99%.
That's not drinking alcohol.
Even
that's
if it's not
poisonous
drinking
alcohol.
Still, you know, the liver's a fucking funny thing. But this is, like you said, this is antiseptic, which may or may not contain trace amounts of urine and feces. And like you're gonna be holding that shot glass, and like your like life's gonna flash before your eyes, like thinking like if like you can even drink it. Like it's easy to say yes or no, but like if you actually put in the spot, you have to genuinely engage with this. Like your body will be doing everything to make sure you didn't follow up.
And who's to know how many, like, even if they're not alive, but just like general like larvae might be in there, because flies and shit are always like in porta potties because they're just like drawn to it. They might try. I don't know if they try to lay their eggs in this shit. Obviously, like whatever they lay isn't gonna survive, but there still could just be like dead larvae in there.
That shit's gonna be like so
For all we
eviscerated.
know.
It's honestly probably the least of your concern. But still a 90,000 paycheck to potentially need to get stomach pumped.
To potentially die.
Potentially die, but that's like I would
stomach pump.
I would assume that's a very slim margin. Like this would be like on the like a minor end of stomach pumpings, I would figure. So if they fuck this up, like that is so on them. It's just like a shot glass's worth.
And I also like don't know what chemicals they use for the blue water. Because what if it's just like straight up like bleach? Even if you get your stomach pumped, that shit's gonna like burn your esophagus. I don't know how strong those chemicals are.
You know, let me find this stuff. Like, what is in the blue fluid? What's in this? Is there an immediate answer?
Arsenic.
Ugh. Let's see. Any like chemicals today? Dye, biocides, fragrance, and surfactants.
I don't like that term,
Surfactants?
biocides.
It kills all biological
Kills
life.
all life. Yeah, like, you know, you got insecticides.
It's like a carbon
Specifically
killer.
for insects. Yeah, it's the oxygen destroyer from Godzilla.
You just took a shot of it. Oh, that is so fucking nasty.
What is a fucking biocide? I've never heard that term.
Okay, I'm gonna look that up now too. Biocide chemical. A chemical substance or microorganism intended to destroy, deter, render harmless, or exert a controlling effect on any harmful organism. So it's
What constitutes as a harmful organism?
I don't know, but it says here that biocide and pesticides are regularly interchanged.
If you are following the label instructions and using biocides correctly, there should not be any harm to you, other people, animals, or the environment. I'm sure that there's no biocide label that tells you to drink it, though.
Yeah, like they would probably like say like keep out of reach of children if you drink like contact poison control.
However, if you do feel ill after using a biocide, you should first seek medical advice and then report it. Find out how to report.
Find out. Yeah, good luck trying to like find out like your poison control number in the midst of choking to death after down in that shot.
What happens when you're exposed to biocides? Is there anyone... Because biocides are... This is from Wikipedia. Because biocides are intended to kill living organisms, many biocidal products pose significant risk to human health and welfare.
I'm noticing a trend here where everything I've searched up, it's like not explaining exactly what it is besides just like this general quote-unquote biocide. I'm seeing this one. Okay, this one's just saying like I guess they're just giving a history of liquids that were in porta potties. That's not exactly what I need here. Biodegradable blue stuff. It just calls it blue stuff.
Blue stuff?
You can't even do that. Like, is there some kind of, like, rabbit hole? They don't want to tell you, like, what it is? Yeah, once again, deodorizer, biocide, fragrance, dye. But what is it?
Fucking chemical X.
Everything says the same. Like, they all have the same answer. What is it exactly? The blue liquid porta potties is typically a form of chlorine.
Great.
However, the concentration of chlorine in the blue liquid can vary, but is typically between 0.5 hundredths of a percent or 0.5%.
How deadly is that?
I don't know. Probably fairly. I'll look it up. What happens if you drink the blue liquid in a porta potty? I better get something good.
Really curious, we obtained a material safety data sheet for a popular brand of porta potty toilet disinfectant, which you can see in its entirety here. 75 to 85% water, 5 to 10% surfactant mixture, 1 to 5% fragrance mixture, 1 to 5% colorant mixture, 0 to 1% ethyl alcohol, and 0 to 1% surfactant. What is a surfactant?
No.
Chemical compound that decreases the surface tension or interfacial tension between two liquids. A liquid and a gas, or a liquid and a solid. Okay, so it just helps shit mix. So there's only 0 to 1% alcohol in this specific porta potty mixture that these people got the ingredients to.
I guess at least maybe you get like a buzz. Take your shots.
I think that makes it worse, because then you know you're dealing with more like poop and piss than you probably initially would have thought.
Yeah, I mean, that's assuming that like both times in this hypothetical that the toilet was used, that like both are huge like turds. But they're just obscured under the liquid.
But then there's also the chance that someone just fucking sprayed liquid ass, like just straight up diarrhea dump into the blue liquid.
That's
true. Just like mixed perfectly in. Because now that we know that there's a surfactant in it, and that helps shit mix together, the poop is gonna be more mixed in than you probably would have initially thought.
That's true. So now that we've got this crash course on the blue liquid composition, how would you like to revise your answer?
Yeah, I don't think I'd do it. Like, it's not as deadly chemical as I thought it would be, but now I found out that it's more shit water than I thought it'd be.
That's true. But at the same time, it's still a shot glass worth, and you still have chemical control on standby, everything paid. I mean, do you really think you're gonna like taste the shit over the chlorine? Like, that's the real
Probably
answer.
Not, but it's also just the mentally knowing that it's shit.
How about mentally knowing that it's like a deadly chemical?
I mean, everyone's gotten a little bit of pool water in their mouth from time to time. Who knows how much chlorine is in it?
Yeah, I guess I don't exactly know like what the actual percentage is.
I mean,
like
this
what
one that I'm looking at
tablets.
doesn't even have chlorine in the ingredients list. It's just ethyl alcohol.
They all got their secret recipes.
Yeah.
Who would have known? But
You think there's a plankton of the blue water industry? The blue liquid industry is going from place to place trying to steal their recipe.
Trying to steal the secret formula that goes into like each one. what's the exact amount. It's like Coca-Cola, or like the people that run this place, like the people that came up with like the formula can't be on the same plane at the same time. In case it goes down, they gotta stay separate. Yes, for Coca-Cola.
They got the president and vice president treatment.
Yes. There's two, as far as like it goes, I remember reading like there's two people at all times that have like the recipe for Coca-Cola on standby. And they get that same plane treatment.
Why?
I don't fucking know.
That doesn't make any sense.
I just remember like reading it once. Why not just
put it on a hard drive in like the Coca-Cola headquarters, lock it behind 10 safes?
Honestly, I can kind of understand that, because from what I know, they do have like a genuine vault where they have like all of their recipes, but just with how commonplace like crypto, I guess not crypto, but like cyber crimes are getting, and how easy it would be to like break into a site like that just because some stupid like worker, working like a hotline had no idea that they were like dealing with a scammer. Like they can get got pretty good.
I think just put it on a hard drive for a computer that doesn't have any ability to access the internet or any connectivity at all. Like maybe have like a single USB port on it so you can like bring in a computer to connect to it.
I guess that's true. I guess in their eyes, it's just better to have like
some dipshit carry it around with the possibility of like misplacing it.
I mean, if you have that job, that's your whole job, is just to have this thing. I doubt you're misplacing it. I think if you misplace like the nuclear football, you're not forgetting that.
There's still a missing nuke in North Carolina. It's entirely possible for someone in that position to lose some shit like that.
Yeah, but like, I'm like the guy who carries the briefcase. Like, your whole job is to be seen with it. Like, missing a nuke. I mean, I've already seen the video of like the asshole who didn't strap in all those vehicles right for the paradrop when they did like that training. And all of those Jeeps like just crash. So something similar probably happened with like a B-52. Like someone just accidentally like opened the bomb bay door, dropped the fucking like inert like nuclear warhead.
In I think it was the 50s or 60s, a B-52 crashed in North Carolina, and there were 2 nuclear bombs on it. One was recovered, the other one still has never been found to this day.
It's like crazy. Like that shit's being passed down through like the generations.
Yeah.
Like somebody has that.
And on the nuke that they did recover, it was something like there was like a few fail-safes, only one of the fail-safes actually activated that day. So, like, North Carolina almost got fucking blown up.
I mean, taught him a lesson, I guess. And that doesn't even account for the amount that are, like, probably lost in the ocean. I'm sure there's a couple of those. Granted, I
account for all the ones that get stolen every year.
I guess. I'm not sure if it's, like, gotten any easier to steal nuclear weapons. Like, there's a lot of shit in place nowadays to make sure that exact thing cannot happen. Otherwise, I think we'd be seeing a lot more, like, militant governments, like, pulling that shit off. Although I guess maybe the whole deal nowadays is just, like, to do it and just don't talk about it. But then again, like, the whole point of having nukes is to flaunt that you have them, so I don't know. Yeah.
You could always just build your own using fire detectors.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot more that's going to have to go into it.
You just gotta have a good excuse for when the FBI comes knocking on your door asking why you bought 20,000 fire detectors.
It's like, great, so now you have like a fucking suitcase bomb. Like, you have a suitcase nuke. The only way you're delivering that is if, like, you're willing to kill yourself. Or you placed it somewhere and got away and drove out of the blast radius before, like, someone called in, like, a police because someone left a suspicious package.
I mean, if you're gonna go through the effort of making a homegrown nuclear bomb and using it, you're probably gonna get yourself killed.
anyway, so you might as well just go down with the ship.
Those people
Like,
don't
you
wanna
are gonna
kill
be
themselves.
enemy number 1 once that thing goes off.
I guess
The American government is not gonna be too happy knowing that there's a dude running around who just detonated a nuclear bomb on American soil.
I mean, is this like a dirty bomb, or is this like an honest-to-God, like, low-yield nuclear bomb?
I think it'd be funnier if it was a low yield.
Okay, because that would mean, like, this person is just, like, an actual genius. Like, if they had got this far, they had
He
a
got
working...
fucking through the heavy water. He got through the refinement process and everything.
Like, if this was able to happen, this person would be such a genius that there's no way they couldn't have, like, thought out, like, the escape plan. Like, if they just, like, did all this, like pulled, like, a plankton, like, I don't know, I didn't think I'd get this far. Like, like, they deserve what they get.
I think it'd be more amazing that they got that far without, like, setting off any alarms.
Yeah.
This guy's just buying all the material that he happens to need to make this bomb and didn't get buzzed on any watch list.
I mean, I'm sure it's possible somehow. I guess if all those parts were somehow, like, available on, like on, like, the, like, deep web and shit, and I guess you somehow knew which sites were legit and not, like, just from experience, maybe you could do it without setting off any, like, major alarms. But obviously it's not happened yet. There's never been, like, a homemade nuke scare. People have been talking about dirty bombs for the past, like, 20 years, and it's never materialized.
And it's never
ever.
happened.
It never. Like, that's what everyone's worried about. Like, ISIS is gonna get a nuke. They're gonna get a dirty bomb, you know. No.
Even though ISIS has never even managed to pull off any sort of attack on American soil to begin with.
No. Unless
They're just gonna suddenly get a dirty bomb over.
Wasn't the San Bernardino one, like, claimed by ISIS? I mean, granted, every
Doesn't
attack was claimed
ISIS
by ISIS.
claim everything?
Yeah. But, like, wasn't that guy, like, an actual, like, pledged himself to ISIS?
I have no fucking idea. The question is, though, was he actually in contact with ISIS, or did he just claim to do it for ISIS?
I don't know.
Type of deal, you know?
I guess so. I guess what you're saying is, like, if it's not actually planned out by, like, the Baghdadi, like, direct line,
Yeah.
then it doesn't count.
Theoretically, anyone could just claim they're a member of ISIS and go and commit a terror attack. Like, I guess it would be attributed to ISIS, but did they really have anything to do with it, you know?
Yeah, and they sure as hell aren't going to be, like, doing anything about it nowadays. ISIS is just, well, at least the ISIS that anyone actually cares about is over. Like, no one gives
It's
two
just
shits
like,
about...
like 10 guys and somewhere in Syria now. Like, that's really all that's left.
It's probably like 100 guys just miserable, living, like, day to day, like, eyes open, like, getting, like, 3 hours of sleep in a cave somewhere. Like, that's what they have left. Like, everyone left in, like, what do you even consider ISIS? Like, actually, like, committing attacks under the black flag is, like, in Africa or, like, maybe Southeast Asia. And that's it. There's no more, like, Levant, Syria, ISIS, really. They all got smoked. And with that, no more dirty bombs. Well, you remember that time when North Korea had, like, that bizarre march where they all had, like, fanny packs with nuclear symbols on them?
No, I don't, actually.
This was definitely within, like, the past, like, 8 years. They had this march, and they had all of their guys, like, in camouflage, and they had these, like, front-facing backpacks that were all, like, squared off, and each of them had, like, just the generic yellow and black, like, radiation symbol, like, as a patch just on the front of them. And I think they were trying to claim that every single one of those guys in formation had, like, a nuclear backpack and was willing to kill themselves, like, jumping over, like, the fucking border. And I guess it's, like, so obviously fake.
Yeah.
I don't even know why they, like, attempted that, because that's definitely, like, the dumbest thing you could have done in terms of, like, trying to fake power in a march.
What does that even accomplish?
I don't know, because they
How are you
never...
even supposed to get over the border? Like, they're gonna, like, that whole thing is no man's land. You just get shot the second you get spotted, which is not gonna take too long.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it has been proven before that, like, you know, like, North Koreans can, like, get to the other side. Well, ironically, while not being shot by their own men. Like that one guy who fucking drove and then ran. I think those 6 soldiers tailed him and they couldn't even, like, shoot him. That was, like, crazy footage. Like, we see one of the North Korean guys, like, trip on his own shoes and he, like, hits the ground face first. But I guess it makes sense. They don't really follow up on any of, like, that nuclear backpack shit. And no one else ever did it ever again. Turns out if you want to just scare people, you get, like, actual weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a segue. Like, holy shit. like Portapotties to homegrown nukes to, like, ISIS. Nuclear threats. And, you know, it's really dumb, too, because it all kind of, like, in a way, this kind of want to stem back to something like, just like a little throwaway thing I wanted to say about Portapotties earlier, because when I mentioned that, like, it sounded like we almost had, like, a conviction that we had something to say about Portapotties. And I guess I could just might as well throw this one out. When's, like, the last time you've, like, been in a Portapotty?
I honestly couldn't tell you.
Have you ever been in one that had, like, the urinals in them, too?
Yes.
What is the fucking point of that?
I guess so, like, you don't splash the seat.
But, like, how they're all built, they're like, very shallow. So, like, you're just gonna make a fucking mess anyway. And also, how could you... Also, I don't think you'd be able to splash the seat. Like, literally, unless you just had horrible aim. Like, the blue dookie water is, like, 2 feet below the lid. So I don't think you'd have to worry about anything splashing back.
I think they'd just be concerned that you have, like, bad aim and that you'd, like, piss on the seat. Because nobody's gonna take the time to wipe the seat.
No.
And then the next dude who comes in is gonna, like, sit on your pee. Nobody wants a wet butt.
I guess not. Stupid ass porta potty. It's just, like, hot as shit. Smells like ass. It's terrible. You know, I think they should just, like, get rid of, like, the windows on the porta potties. Like, get rid of those little, like, ventilation holes.
Yeah, just make it even worse.
Yeah, because it's honestly, it's so bad. Just like how it is, like, naturally. They might as well just, like, get rid of it. Make it worse altogether.
Get in there. You're gonna start, like, hyperventilating instantly.
And you're hyperventilating, like, ass air.
Yeah.
Like, that's the worst.
You're gonna pass out from, like, lack of oxygen.
And the best part is, nobody would ever be able to help you, because, like, it just says
you locked the
occupied.
door.
Yeah, like, no one would think that, like, you're dead.
It's like a suicide chamber.
That would be a pretty rough death.
It's like all those you know, speculative suicide chambers. Like, I think that some company in the Netherlands developed one where it's just like a little pod you get into and it, like, slowly releases, or it slowly pulls out the oxygen, so you just kind of, like, slowly suffocate and you don't really notice it. It's just that, but, like, cranked up to 11.
You notice it, and you're like...
You know you're dying. And it's horrible.
It is awful.
Maybe that's
bad.
how they should do, like, you know how people keep bringing up, like, consensual suicide? Like, for people who are terminally ill or whatever.
Yeah, hit them with that.
So that, like, they don't have to slowly go or whatever. Like, that should be the compromise. For all the people who are still against consensual suicide. Like, well, we'll make it legal, but if you want to do it, you have to get in the no ventilation porta potty chamber.
And it's, like, filled with the driest shit from, like, a month ago.
Yeah. So you really gotta weigh the options here. You know, do you want to slowly fade from this horrible disease, or do you want to a lot quicker go away, but just have it be the worst, like, 2 minutes of your life?
Yeah, once you're in that room and the door locks, you're gonna all of a sudden think of plenty of reasons why you want to fucking live.
You're gonna get on your knees and start praying.
Honestly, probably the last thing I'm gonna do in a porta potty is get on my knees. I can't get anywhere closer to the floor. Although I guess to be fair, I've never been in a porta potty that was like particularly fucked up. Like I think the grossest one I ever saw, it was definitely like filled with like orange shit. But I've never seen one where there was like, you know, shit and mess like all over the seat and whatnot. There's definitely at least a unanimous agreement. Like nobody wants the porta potty that disgusting. But apparently, I guess that's not always the case in some places. I've seen
like
some pretty horrendous pictures.
It's already a gross place. Like you don't want to make it worse for the next guy.
Yeah. I mean, I've probably seen like actual bathrooms, like public bathrooms that are worse. Although,
here's a question.
What?
Would you rather get into the no ventilation porta potty and have to stand there for like a minute and a half when it's just like the most stale, foul shit? Like they even like released like a few flies into the cage, so that way like there could be like maggots and shit like writhing around in it. It's just fucking absolutely filthy. Or would you rather get into a porta potty that has been used multiple times and have someone run and like jump into it to tip it over while you're in it?
Oh, I'd rather take the minute and like the no vent one. Because like that one's like it's like guaranteed. I'm gonna get fucking shit all over me.
So you'd rather breathe in the fumes for a designated amount of time?
But, I mean, you said it was like a minute.
Just be able to like instantly. I said a minute and a half.
I think I can hold my breath for like 50 seconds, like, you know, without much prep.
I think you're way over prepping yourself. Like you are overestimating how long you can hold your breath for.
I think you're not giving me enough credit. Like as someone who owns a pool, I like had, you know, like who owns like actually had a pool growing up. I've like, you know, tested holding my breath for like quite a while, and I could say 50 seconds I could definitely do. You know, I'm no like Percy Jackson who can like hold my breath for like, you know, like 14 minutes or something like that. I'm not a fucking whale, but 50 seconds is doable.
But it's also a different reaction when you're in water, so you might not be able to do it without the water.
I mean,
that is a real thing. It's like a mammal something instinct.
But it's like only my... I don't think there would be too much of a difference here. I'm still just holding my breath.
There is a different, like, psychological reaction for holding your breath when there's water on your face versus when you're just out in open air. You can hold your breath for longer if your face is wet.
It's so retarded.
This is a real thing. Mammilian diving reflex.
People say the aquatic ape theory isn't real.
This is why like dolphins can hold their breaths for so long, because they just like abuse this shit. Dolphins, seals, otters, whales, and muskrats. But it is in humans too.
Oh, so like this is what the dolphins and whales are using, not like the lungs that are like half the size of their bodies.
Set of psychological responses to immersion that overrides the basic homeostatic reflexes and is found in all air-breathing vertebrates studied to date. So we just call it the mammal diving reflex because we're assholes, I guess. Diving reflex is exhibited strongly in aquatic mammals such as seals, otters... Oh, okay, I already read that. And a lesser response in other animals, including human babies up to 6 months old. And diving birds.
Okay, what's the world record on holding someone's breath? Holy shit! This ain't real.
It's like 10 minutes.
No, more.
But is that with like a full can of pure oxygen? Because if you take a breathful of like a pure oxygen from a container, you can hold your breath for a super fucking long time.
Let me see.
But taking it from just the air around you, you can hold your breath for a lot less.
Oh, man. Okay, well, the longest someone's ever held their breath underwater is 24 minutes and 37 seconds.
I think that's with, like, a thing of pure oxygen, though. Like, that's like a cheat.
Is it a cheat? I'm trying to like look this up and see like how'd you do? What's your secret? Let's see, what did he do? I can see a video of it. I don't know, but I guess talking about like insane world records.
Yeah, the current non-oxygen aided record stands at 11 minutes 35 seconds.
That's still like insane.
That's specifically for men. For women, it's 8 minutes 23 seconds.
Ooh.
It's a very strange thing that's like the first thing that pops up on Google.
So I was going to say, is speaking of world records, something my brother and I talked about recently was the world record for not sleeping. And I think it's like something crazy, like 14 days.
That's impossible. I thought after 3 days, your just like body fails.
This guy did it for 14 days.
That's not real.
Okay, let's see. Okay, 11 days, 25 minutes. I thought it was 14. Randy Gardner, 1963. Hey, like 11 days.
I could have sworn that it was like 3 days and your body just fucking falls apart.
I mean, that's definitely the case for like water. For sleep, I mean, maybe the average person probably can't last any more than like 5 tops. But yeah, 11 is pretty bad. And I think it said that later on in his life, the guy like had severe insomnia. I don't know if it's related.
Easy.
Probably was, though. What was crazy is that after all that time, he kind of just slept normally. And like things went back to normal. Like he slept for like 14 hours for 2 days in a row. And then everything was back to normal. So I don't know like where that sleep deficit goes. I don't know how you could pull something like that off. And I think something else that's kind of funny is that they don't hold, like Guinness doesn't even like allow that record to be tested anymore. Because it's just too fucking
Probably
dangerous.
because it's like deadly.
Yeah, they don't want anyone to even like bother attempting to break it. So they basically just ended up giving that guy like, the perma win.
Oh yeah, but you can still try to hold your breath underwater for Guinness.
That's true. But that's something that's way easier to like have people on standby to help you with. Like not sleeping for several days. Like what are they gonna do? Like is someone like a doctor's gonna say like you're gonna die and just like interrupt, like break it?
You just have a strong man come in and put you in a chokehold.
I'll tell you what.
They have Tony Stark come in and start punching you and go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep.
Go to sleep, go to sleep. I'll tell you, if like I was on day like 9 and I was about to die and they sent in Tony Stark to punch me, I'd be jumping out of my fucking bed. I'd be wide awake. Like that last adrenaline rush. So I don't get my head crushed by the Hulk Buster. Unless Tony Stark's just coming at me like it's really Robert Downey Jr. coming to punch me physically with his hands.
Yeah.
Go to sleep,
Physically, it's just Robert Downey Jr.
He opens the door like, I'm Iron Man.
Excuse me? You need to go to sleep.
A little birdie said you've been trying to stay up a little too long. Past your bedtime. Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep. Die, 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 die.
No, I gotta break this record. I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear that.
I'm gonna pretend to just hear that. Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to hell, go to hell.
That's you, right? Wow, 9 days. Look at you go.
Look at you go. 9 days, no sleep? How do you do that? I know like some of the Guinness records that always bothered me were those ones that had the picture of like the strong man with like those hooks in the back of his skin while he like pulls like a fucking like a trailer. Like that's just like awful. Like why does it have to be hooks in your back?
I feel like so much of the shit in Guinness Book of World Records is like the most useless bullshit.
Yeah, a lot of it is. It's like most like king cobras that you like went in a bathtub with.
Yeah.
Shit like that. Like there's only gonna be so many like actually impressive things that you'd keep an eye out for. Like maybe like highest jump, like fastest run speed, shit like that. No one gives a shit.
Like it doesn't like Badlands Chugs have like a record for like the fastest like gallon of soda drank or something like that. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. And like, I guess Badland Chugs deserves the recognition, but do I really care that there's someone that has that record to begin with? Like,
yeah, I feel like the only reason why it's even like record setting is because not really that many people care enough to like attempt
to
doing
try it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I guess I'd care more about the impressive ones, and naturally those are the ones that get the most attention anyway. You know, we have the fucking Olympics to find the real people.
I feel like we need to go back to our idea of like setting that world record from a few years ago. I don't know if you remember what I'm talking about.
Oh God, remind me.
For like like the farthest cum shot. Do you not remember that?
I remember that. It's certainly a record that like it brings a lot of trouble with it. You're gonna have to.
It's certainly a. Well, go on.
It's because, you know, it's for the most part. I guess it's implied that it'd all be like self-recorded, but like if you wanted like actual
but
international,
they do send like a representative out to make sure you can actually pull it off.
Like that means like just to make sure there's no foul play, there'd have to be someone watching you the whole time, just like jerking it and then like splooging your shot, and then they'd pull
tell
out.
them to send like a hot one.
Yeah, and then
to come and watch you.
And then they have like one of those shot put runners who like rushes over to like to the landing spot with like a fucking measuring tape.
Yeah. They got like the NFL referee with like the huge orange post like run out with the wire. Check the validity of the play.
It's like, wow, look at that one, Dan, and like you see like they draw like the little arrows. Like it's still like a camera like taken from like the fucking like like the announcer's like room.
And they got the fucking like the camera above you pointed down.
Yeah.
That's a strange hand technique, Dan. I haven't seen that one before. Let's see how well it works out for him.
Like, wow, look at that. Oh my goodness. He just beat the record.
That's a new record.
He just beat the record by 2 inches.
That's the great thing about setting that record is that I remember when we came up with the idea, we did a little bit of research and found that there is no recorded statistics for the farthest cum shot ever achieved by a man.
That is unless like porn sites keep like some kind of like stupid porn Olympics, which I wouldn't doubt. I wouldn't doubt if they do. Like that would definitely.
There probably
be something...
are like porn star wikis that have like dumb trivia like that on the website.
Yeah, like it might be just floating around. It just exists in like only one little spot on the internet, so you like really have to like hunt for it.
You could create like a whole new sport based off of this activity.
Yeah, just, you know, you'd have to... Hasn't it been, like, kind of proven that it's kind of unhealthy just to be, like, jerking off nonstop? Like, that's what you'd have to be if you wanted to, like, train for this.
Well, you wouldn't have to, like, constantly. You just have to be doing a lot of, like, Kegel exercises in, like, the lead up.
Yeah,
and you'd probably have to do it, like, every now and then just to make sure, like, you're up to par.
Like, you're eating...
But you wouldn't have to be, like, jerking off all day, every day.
Well,
maybe that would be the technique, though. You'd be like blue ballsing yourself all day, every day in the lead up to it.
Yeah, you'd have to blue ball. You know, you're chewing on celery.
You got a cock ring on.
Yeah, like...
Would stuff like that be considered like performance enhancer? Like you're not allowed to bring your cock ring into the arena.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm not sure what would like. We'd have to like set the rules. Like what it counts as like a performance enhancing like material. I mean, people would have to like study up like what foods produce like, I don't know, the airiest semen, I guess, that it gives it like the most launch.
Gives it the most lift.
Like the angle of approach to it, like make sure you have like the best like actual like trajectory. Like maybe there's like a real golden ratio to like what direction to point your penis. Maybe there's like a bounce technique. It's like, oh, he's pointing his penis down, Jim.
The hip thrust technique. Like you thrust your hip at the last second to like give it a little bit extra momentum.
What would be nuts is that like you're a year into this, and there's people that are like doing handstands just to like give their penis like
just to get more height.
Yeah, just to get more height. Like that becomes like the meta. You have to do a handstand jerking off to get the maximum height. You're like bending your penis backwards, like with an erection.
And you have like some guys who are like jumping as they come to like get the height.
And there's like a crowd of 300,000 people, like the fucking like Yankee Stadium or whatever, like just like watching this. You're on all the jumbotrons. And then like it has like one of the jumbotron just says like you know, two big jerks. Like it's supposed to be like one of those like lovey-dovey, like get the two people kissing, but it just shows like two men and they're like out there naked jerking off themselves.
They're fucking like giving each other handies in the fucking audience.
Yeah, every now and then the performer like turns and blasts the audience. They like will dive for some. It's just so awful.
Fucking like the audience cameras show there is not a single woman in this crowd.
This is a male dominated sport.
Yeah. Would you buy tickets to go to this venue?
I don't know if I'd particularly
Would you participate in the sport?
I don't know if I'd be up for that. I don't think I can master the handstand technique required to get into like the pro league.
That'd be so insane because you'd have to handstand on one hand.
That is unless unless you were so good at mentally stimulating yourself that you're able to like jizz.
Like, without any actual stimulation.
It's called like a handstand hand-free technique.
It's like some fucking like Shaolin monk type shit.
That's what
you have
need.
Complete mastery over your own body. That you don't even need to use your hand.
You gotta use your hands. It's like a baby's toy. They're still just using like a football field. It doesn't even have like its own dedicated like arena. I mean, I guess it would make sense.
A basketball stadium would be better. Because it'd be easier to measure. Because you wouldn't have like the turf that would like absorb it when it lands. Although the idea of like football players playing on like a stained grass field is pretty funny.
I don't know. Maybe it could be like I'm not sure like what court would like work better. I'm not sure.
The other problem with the basketball one though is that you have like the laminated wood, so like the splotches would probably like slide a little bit when they hit the ground. It'd be a little bit harder to measure too. You need like the slow motion camera like at ground level to get like the exact placement.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, it could be like a placemat you could put down. Like maybe just like a flat version of one of those like indoor golfing like strips you can put down, and it just has like a measuring thing. It almost looks like a what are those things called? Those like indoor like sliding puck games. You know what I'm talking about? What are those called?
Curling? You're talking about curling?
That's not even what I'm talking about, but like I guess you can almost consider something like that. But yeah, it wouldn't take all too much to like why does he just have to like come like on the floor of like a basketball ring? Like you can make something.
This is funnier.
And also, I think I like the idea that it's outside, like a beautiful sunny day for this.
They do it at like the same time as football season, so it's like snowing.
Oh, that's not gonna be easy, Jim. In the cold weather, it can't get like that. You know, I'm feeling myself shrivel just looking at him. And I can imagine, you know, it's like a beautiful summer day. Like the men come out, they're all naked, oiled, completely jacked like Arnold Schwarzenegger, like real fucking Greek performance. And they even do like the B-2 bomber flyover with like the fucking SEAL team paradrop.
They got like the fucking Blue Angels flying overhead.
Blue Angels, the SEAL team paradrop, and a full like orchestra.
They have like a singer come out and do the fucking national anthem. Just a bunch of naked men with their hands over their fucking chest.
Like it's almost like a hockey team where they like line up, and like once the anthem starts, they're all naked, by the way. Like the anthem starts, they put hands over their chest and they all get like boners as like salutes.
It slowly rises up to like the crescendo of the song. If you don't get it up at the exact like right time, you get disqualified instantly.
That would be a first, having like the anthem be part of it.
Yeah.
Although I guess to be fair, if you act it out during an anthem, maybe that could be grounds for disqualification, like another sport. I don't know. Yeah, that'd be nuts. Like, how long do you think it would like take the average person like warm up? Like once you reach like the batter's plate, you know, for lack of better words, because there's just a guy just like jerking off for like 2 minutes while the crowd's just like.
I'd imagine that, you know, they'd all have to be like standing there, and then once they get like the go ahead, that's when they start like going at it.
Now, would you be allowed to like be jerking off like waiting in line for your turn? Like, is that like an allowed technique? Or do you have to start your masturbation at the batter's plate?
It depends on like what type of sport you want to base this on. Because if you're going off of like football, you know, like they always show that like, you know, like you have like the goal kicker like doing practice kicks while like the rest of the team is playing. So yeah, I don't know if you might be able to allow the dude to be like edging himself on the sideline.
It's because, you know, I'd like it to include things that allow for a more like diverse technique. It allows for like a lot of techniques to be used. Because I mean, after all, you're only doing one thing, so I think to be fair, you got to give options. And if someone wants to try to like the edging handstand hands-free technique for like that 10-foot shot, like heard around the world, I think we should let him.
At the same time, like the dude who's like the last one to go is gonna have such a big advantage because he's been edging the entire time versus like the first guy who's who's had no time. I think the best way to do it, you just have to line all your participants.
They all do it at once.
Yeah, like you fire the gun, you fire the gun, and you have like maybe they all have to like nut at the same time.
That is gonna be tricky. I don't know if that's like in the cards. Maybe it's just like no edging. You know, okay, we can make this stupid. They all start out in actual like horse pods, like it's actually gonna be like a horse race. They shoot the gun, they bust down the doors and run to their like spot, and then they start jerking off. Like that's how it's gonna work. I think that works
better with like the timed nut though, because then it means like whoever gets to their spot first has like a better advantage, because they have more time to like prime it up. Now it's not just like a Kegel show of force. You have to be like at the peak of your physical game. Maybe they have to like run a whole gauntlet before they even get to the spot.
Why? There's nothing to do with like the outcome.
It's funnier that way.
I guess so.
It's a complete show of like peak male physical like output. You gotta run up, you gotta throw the disc. You gotta like squat 2 plates.
You gotta discus throwing, full squat, and then like the third to last one is just complete Greek boxing, no stopping until death or knockout. The fart with like the blast. That would be insane. All covered in fucking like onion grease and whatnot, whatever they need.
Replace the boxing with fencing. It's like they come out naked, they do all that shit, they have to throw on the fencing suit, do a match of fencing, and then take it back off again.
It's like fencing, just like more masculine than like Greek boxing. Or maybe that's like Greek wrestle. Like that's how like it primes them into like the final round. I bet it would get more attendance in the actual Olympics. Easily.
I think it would shut down like every major sport.
Yeah,
why would you watch anything else other than this?
You know, that's like honest. That's an honest to God truth. If this existed and wasn't censored, why watch anything else? Like, you know, I remember seeing a lot of things that, you know, compare like what kids want to be when they grow up in the US compared to like China, where like they all want to be like YouTubers and streamers and influencers.
Bloggers, yeah.
If this existed, you could bet your ass they all want to be like Olympians, but like the nude Olympics.
What would you call this sport?
It would need an insane name. Like,
would this only be like a once a year type thing, or would it be like a weekly competition?
I don't think you can do this weekly. Like, this needs to be yearly. Just to like give it like even more of a like hype, I guess. But the thing is this one sport?
Yes.
I don't know. I call it like the Elysian Games. What else could you call it? The Elysian spectacle.
Elysian Games. So you're just basically translating as like the Paradise Games.
I mean, trying to say that watching that isn't just paradise.
It's like mental paradise. You would get like a dopamine rush like you've never had before.
You'd be like a involuntarily getting naked, like watching the pre-show.
Be so completely enthralled, you'd be like following the movements in your own home.
You're like jerking off alongside them. And then like you're just like, oh, and you're like 10 feet away from the TV, and you like look at the splatter on the TV. You like look down at your hands, like trembling, and you like rush over to a phone, like get in contact with like like a coordinator,
like a recruiter.
Yeah, like you're not gonna believe this.
Dude, those audiences would be like a fucking bloodbath.
Can't wait till it goes international.
So much. There would be so much like energy, just pure unadulterated like energy in that like live stadium audience. Like, there would be at least a few people dead at the end of like every event for this sport.
I mean, is there like, would there be anything else to add in terms of like manly like spectacles before the main event?
I don't think so. We got the discus throw, squatting, and wrestling and or boxing.
What about
what else is there?
Chariot racing, but like other men are the horses.
Are they other contestants like in the final event? Or are they just like random muscle men?
I don't know.
Is it like actual horse racing where like the main dude has to like get his own team together to bring to the event?
Maybe. And I guess that would honestly be a pretty good idea. Like you have like a team. Like each
it's
guy,
like a bobsledding event.
Yeah, like each guy comes out. He has like a team that like takes off like his fucking like cape and like introduce
it's the only clothes that's allowed
He's flanked by his two strongmen that'll be acting as his fucking, like, as, like, his chariot bearers.
Everyone is allowed to bring their own cape, but only the champion from last year is allowed to, like, wear the crown.
And what even is it? Like a crown of thorns? Like, what?
Like, is Jesus? Like, why would it be a crown of thorns?
The funniest thing.
He gets punished for winning. Like...
That's crucified. After all. I don't know. I'd be like, they make it perfectly clear at the beginning that, like, this is the fate if you win. And then, like, some guy wins, he's like jumping up and down, and, like, the two men grab him, and he's like kicking and screams like, no!
I'd like to imagine that he'd be completely, like, okay with it. The second he's crowned the winner, he goes completely stoic and just, like, lets it happen for the greater good.
And they don't even tie up his hands and feet, they go full on nail.
I feel like, honestly, like, looking back at this, that's like the only way the sport can end. Like, you would just have the strongest human in existence. Like, you'd have to get rid of him. He's too dangerous. It'd be like Spartacus. Like, he'd be able to, like, crush nations.
You win this whole gauntlet, then you gotta, like, carry your cross in the Temple Mount. Oh man, that's the thing.
You would be deified though. That's the real glory of winning this sport. You get added to the pantheon.
I mean, I think it'd still be turning off a lot of people if, like, the winner dies in, like, an excruciating way.
Yeah, but it's all for, like, that eternal glory. Like, your name will never be forgotten. You will literally ascend to godhood for winning the sport.
Outside the arena, there's literally just, like, a fucking empty field of crosses with, like, skeletons on them.
Becomes the new pilgrimage site. People from all over the world are traveling to visit this holy sport.
I don't know. I almost feel like the crucifixion should be a process, but maybe it shouldn't be the one for winning.
I don't know, I like that idea too much now.
Oh, fucking teacher. At this point, like, honestly, everything, it's crazy how the part where, like, everyone lines up and jerks off the farthest, like, is overshadowed.
Yeah. It's honestly, like, already been normalized by how completely outrageous everything else is at this point.
Like, a tournament to get purposely crucified.
It's it's like the story of how, fuck, what was his name? What was the king of Persia when they invaded, like, the whole, like, Battle of 300? Fuck was that guy's name?
Was it Xerxes?
Yeah, Xerxes. Like, like, when he learned that there was only 300 Spartans or whatever, he asked, like, why were there so few troops? And the answer was that, like, all the other guys left to go play in the Olympics. And, like, that was, like, when he got scared, because these guys, like, were willing to, like, they wanted the glory more than, like, fighting for their own homes. Like, that would be this situation. Like, these guys are all going for the glory just to get, like, crucified. Like,
but it's, like, the total opposite, though. because of that situation, the people that actually like went to the Olympics didn't want to die. It completely turns that on its head.
But would you fuck with a nation that like views this as their like national sport?
I suppose I would not.
A sport where the only reward is being killed at the end of it?
Yeah. I mean,
just breeding the strongest men in existence.
Just to kill them. Are they at least allowed to like is there like semen collected? Like from the landing site? Like, are there like Olympian like sperm banks?
They're making fucking like surrogate mothers.
Yeah. Like you could pay like a hefty fee to get like a fucking Elysian god like load from a test tube.
That's how they pass on the good genes, right? Inadvertently making like a super race.
Preschoolers are like drawing on crayon like what they want to be when they grow up, and just like it's like stick figure like on a cross. Like a little thing that just says daddy on it.
Whole nation of single mothers.
I don't imply that all of them are winning. Like, how many people are participating at a time?
I have no fucking idea.
Like, what's the max occupancy? Is it like maybe 500 people? Maybe it should be like 300. The 300 Spartans. And only like one makes it. Only one gets put down.
Only one winner.
They're all just
You think
jacked,
coming in second
oiled.
place would be like bragging rights, or do you think it'd be like the biggest disgrace?
Honestly,
That you were that close to getting crucified and you didn't.
You'd probably get like tomatoes thrown at you on the way out. People, like spitting, throwing shit. You're that close. Damn. Maybe next year.
You have to be the one to stab the person getting crucified.
Yeah, that would be like a good thing to do. You gotta stab. Like, maybe that's how it works. You get crucified, at least you don't have to like suffer for too long.
They give you the full Jesus treatment. You get like the spear of destiny into your chest.
You carry your cross to the fucking site and it gets speared. And then what happens is, like, all of their bodies, like, they're actually not like left to lay out there. All their bodies are like put into like a single crypt. And then, like, there's just like
It's like the Valley of Kings, like
like actual like kings. Several hundred tombs in this one crypt. And then like one day the giant wooden like doors open.
like, what is it? The fucking like Avatar temples.
They all rose from the dead. And now they...
The real question is, what do people on this world do when they finally like crucify one of these guys and they stab him and like water comes out of his chest?
Well, I mean, it's kind of like metagaming because they already know what happens in the Bible. So like, you know, they don't like. Do they just like follow up? Like, what? They just like put him in the fucking tomb and wait 3 days? 'Cause that's metagaming. They like have to come up with like a due process. I don't even know. I guess you would have to just like follow through with it. Let him rise. But then what does he
wait
do?
another like 2,000 years for the third coming, I guess.
Every single one of them has like water coming out of them. They keep rising.
The real question is like when when the winner is carrying his cross, is he getting like the full Jesus treatment where like he's being whipped the whole time and like people are like throwing rocks at him and shit? Or
Considering
is he
it's
allowed
not,
to peacefully carry the cross to the hill?
I feel like at least it's like peaceful, and they're like cheering him, but like maybe they're still whipping him. Just because like they don't want to make the arena get any messier than it already is. And it's not as far as a walk. Oh, it's just because he has the crown of thorns. Like literally, if I just said like he gets a laurel wreath, none of this would have happened. This is the more interesting outcome. All because of the like just ejaculation Olympics. It's much more than that now.
Funny thing too is like this isn't too far out of the scope of like of human activity, because I know that the Aztecs had a very, but they didn't do like the whole jacking off bit.
I don't think it's been recorded
Like-
in history yet.
But like when they like some of their sacrifices, they would like designate one of like their captives as being like the avatar of one of their gods, and that person would pretty much get to spend like an entire week just being treated as a god, but just like walking through the like Tenochtitlan, like people would feed him and all that type of shit, like house him, just like treat him like real fucking royalty. And the whole time, too, they'd be, like, drugging the shit out of him so that, like, when the time finally came, he really wouldn't, like, fight back when they fucking ripped his heart out. So it's not against, you know, human nature to, like, kill the thing you worship.
Yeah, but this is, like, such a different scenario because you're going into this with a mindset, like, you are giving it your all to kill like, to literally kill yourself. And that's a mindset that does not exist.
In the most spectacular way.
I guess so. It's just, I don't, this, the sad part is I don't think it would ever, like, actually exist.
You don't know that.
It would take one hell of, like, a culture warping. Like, it would take indoctrination from birth. Like, every school would need to be changed overnight to get this, like, into effect.
And there have been societies where, like, ritual suicide was like a thing.
That's true.
Obviously, like, modern society probably wouldn't be too okay with it, but you could do some tweaking. It could happen.
I guess it is, that would be the case. I mean, you taught them from birth that, like, the performance of this entire, like, spectacle and being, like, nailed to the cross, sent to, like, Elysium itself, like, was the goal in life, then I guess people would do it. And, like, would the world be better off?
Yes. 100%.
Fucking, like, religious people around the world just livid at this development. Man,
The world would not be able to... like, no religion would be able to compete with this. Just a pure spectacle of human accomplishment condensed into one event.
How long do you think this would last? I'm not saying like in like how long the event is.
It's gotta be like a day.
Whole day.
Like just a day of sport.
I guess if they were Supermen, maybe they could pull off like a whole 24 hours straight of doing all of this. That'd be amazing too. It finally ends. It's like 9 p.m. It's like pitch blackout. They're like lit by braziers. Like how do you pronounce that? Like
yeah, they're carrying torches and shit.
It's literally firelight that they're like performing the fucking like nut shot with. And like this Gregorian chant's like, ooh.
Yeah. They have a whole chorus.
They find out that like the deep vibrations like stimulates their prostates and like lets them like shoot
makes
farther.
them come harder.
The audience is like getting into it too. And I'll say one thing: this has been definitely like the diciest bender we've done yet. I don't know what kind
It's
of
crazy that a whole discussion about porta potties turned into developing this sport.
This isn't even like a sport anymore. This is a culture.
Yeah.
This is like book worthy.
This is a ritual.
It's a lifestyle. And it is attainable. To all those people out there, waiting on this to happen in their lives, to be the next person, send their sons and daughters, well, not daughters, because this is like a men-only event, completely voluntarily, too.
Be the change you want to see in the world. That's all I have to say about that.
Be the change.